If I come back and have read all of these books, just know I'm highly favored. Hello everyone, welcome back to Chibi Reading. Today I'm going to be doing my 2025 blackity TBR, my February TBR, the books I'm going to be reading for Black History Month. This month I only read Black books. This is the only TBR that I'm guaranteed to do every single year. If I don't post no other video in a year, which is exactly what I did in 2023. I don't think I posted anything else but this TBR. I'm going to post this TBR. I am going to be a bit more delicate with this TBR this year. I think last year I put 24 books on that TBR for 1 month, which is astronomical. Some people could do it, not me. That's not my portion. In 2023, I think I put 20, so I'm going to put 16. I think it's either 15 or 16 books. I think 15 and then one novella, maybe. I think that's completely doable for me because I want to get through every single one. I would love to completely exactly read only the books on this TBR and completely finish all of them. And 16 books is completely doable for me. How many times have I said completely in the past minute? Excess. So yeah, let's get into the books. The first book is a book I've been putting off for 2 years, and that is what is it called? Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is Talia Hibbert's first foray into young adult. I do know most of her books, if all the books I've read by her, and I've read 4 Talia Hibbert books, all are only interracial relationships. This is her first one where they're both Black. So I think that's cute. I love that for young adult. I feel like that's even rare for young adults to have both leads in the romance be Black. So I love that. So I love this trope in like teen movies and teen books. It's actually one of my favorites when people are two best friends and then something miraculous happens to one of them and they ascend up the social like not childhood, but like the teenage ladder. So one becomes a football star, one becomes the prom queen, one becomes a school president, and then they leave the other one behind and then they end up hating each other for whatever reason. That's exactly what's happening in this book between the main male lead and the main female lead. But they end up together in a survival course and they are forced to confront what made them hate each other and if there's any lingering feelings. You know how it goes. It's a romance. I think that's such a cute premise. I love that premise personally. Talia Hibbert is very hit or miss for me. Not to like put too much on her, but I feel like the Brown Sisters trilogy, even though 2 of the 3 books I think I gave 2 to 3 stars, I still think she was very much a pioneer in like, let me not say pioneer, let me not do too much, but I think she was a big part of bringing back romance in the 2020s. I feel like we had not too many like romances, not too many romance anthologies, romance series, and then Talia Hibbert came and everyone's just like, this is the genre, especially with her cartoon covers. I'm sorry, she's an icon, but I hope I do like this book. It's really hit or miss with me, so I have been putting this off, but I love to see Black live. So there's that. This one was on my November, many a TBR. That's Razor Billy Tears. I've talked about this book. I think this is the 3rd TBR, so I have to read this book. If I don't read this book this month, I'm going to unhaul it. That's it. This is about 2 fathers who go on a quest for revenge and also to find out what happened to their 2 sons who were killed by the police. It is a thriller, mystery, kind of detective type of book, and I have to read it. I have to read it. Ace of Spades. And I've been putting this one off because I have no idea. I think I've had this book since it came out. I know I've had this book since it came out. I have tried, even right now, I'm on my 3rd iteration. I'm on page 6. Let me not do too much. But I'm on my 3rd iteration of trying to read this book. And I don't know why. Every single time I put it down at a random time before 100 pages and I don't pick it back up. It's not like I disliked what I've read. I just haven't. So this book is about these 2 characters. And they are 2 Black characters that go to a predominantly white school. They're both 2 queer Black characters going to a predominantly white school. They end up starting to be, not really hazed, but starting to be bullied by an anonymous person who's bullying them and they don't know who it is. Think kind of like Gossip Girl type thing. So they're sending blasts to the whole school. They don't know who it is, so they join forces to try to find out who is doing this kind of like blackmailing, this bullying, this cyber stalking of both of them. Sounds right off my alley. Sounds good. I think maybe it is a thick book. So maybe there's a bit like a lot of building up or like a lot of world building, a lot of building up that I just wasn't in the mood for at the time. I have to be in the mood for it this time because I've had it for way too long and it's about time. This next book, I don't know why. I have filmed a video about putting this on the TBR, but then I talked way too much about it and I was just like, girl, take that out. It's really truly not that serious. But this is The Wrong Kind of Weird by James Ramos. So here's my beef with this book. I don't have a beef with this book. There's no beef with this book. Here's just my thing about this book. So this is about a boy. Main character here. He has a whirlwind summer romance with a girl, right? And they go to the same high school and they have a great summer. They are kind of like in, teenage fling love, like it's a great time. They get back to school and because she's kind of like a queen bee type character, she starts ignoring him and she's just like, you're a nerd, can't be seen with you, can't talk to you in public. they kind of fizzle out, and he's just like, wow, like no one likes me for who I am. Come another girl who likes him exactly for who he is. So instead of trying to kind of reclaim that relationship that he had in the summer, reclaim that love, he starts focusing on this new girl who's also kind of nerdy, who likes him for who he is, who he can be himself with, and that romance starts to blossom. Here is my thing with this. If this is a case where the whirlwind romance starts with this black girl, like they have a great romance in the summer, but then they go back to school and she is queen bee and she's just like, I don't like boys who like anime and comics, and then he falls in love with this white girl, and then it's all like, you know, he can be himself, I'm going DNF it, because I hate that trope. It's a trope that is like more existent in society than it is, I feel like, in books. But the whole like, oh, black girls don't love me because I like anime, black girls don't love me because I'm a nerd, black girls, I am tired of it. I'm tired of it. The TikTokification of that whole narrative has bugged the heck out of me for the whole entire time I was on TikTok. So if this book is just exemplary of that, I'm going to DNF it. I'm sorry. That's a really nitpicky thing to be biased about, but it's so annoying to me, and it's Black History Month. I can do what I want. The next book is Blood Sky by Deborah Falaye. Here's my thing with this book. This book is by a Nigerian author, and it's about Yoruba mythology. I think it takes the premise is about Yoruba mythology. This was one of my most highly anticipated books when it came out. It's actually an arc, and it tells me exactly when it came out. It came out March of 2022. I did not read it just because the reviews scared me, and I'm trying to be less susceptible to reviews, but if there's someone who I have likeness with, who I enjoy, who tells me this book is good, this book is bad, it's really gonna make me side-eye. And I think I side-eyed this one too much. I think because they said it was a very hard read. This one, and also I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, two African authors, and both of these books were highly anticipated by me, and the reviews made me not want to read them, but made me want to make sure I'm in a good headspace to read them. And it seems since 322 I have not been in a good headspace because I still have not read them. This one I'm pretty sure delves into female child soldiers, and the war that they are fighting. So that one sounds like it's going to be pretty brutal. But this one is just about Yoruba mythology, so that should be pretty interesting. I'm not sure what made the reviewers say that it's kind of a harder read, or a read that you should take your time with, but I'm going to find out because I'm going to read both of these this month. I have to. It's by force at this point. The next book is a book I'm currently reading, and it has one of my least favorite kind of premises of a book ever, and that is Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. And it is women dealing with fertility issues. I don't know why, but that, if I had known that, which means if I had read the back of the book when I bought it instead of just looked at the cover, then I would not have bought it. But here it is, and I have to finish it and read it. I'm already actually 33% through this book, and yeah, it's every reason why I don't like to read books about Black women or women with fertility issues. It's not a fun time. I have yet to read the sequel to Raybearer. I give Raybearer 5 out of 5 stars. Redemptor by Jordan Fuego is the sequel to Raybearer, a book I give 5 out of 5 stars, yet I have not read it. And that's because I have been, for the past 2-3 years, in this mindset where anything that's a series, I'm not picking up the first book. Anything that's a trilogy, I'm not picking up. A duology? You're on thin ice. I may or may not, you're on thin ice. And I think that's where this was. So I read the first book. I was like, I loved it. It could end here and I'll be happy. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in Raybearer, because it's literally was one of my favorite books of 2022 or 2023, whenever it came out. So I feel like I should just read this. Like, what's stopping me? This is a novella. It's a very short book. It's less than 150 pages, and it's A Necessary Chaos by Brent Lambert. This is a queer enemies to fake dating to lovers novella about two kind of entities that are entrenched in a space war a bit. So it's sci-fi, and it's romance, and it's enemies to lovers. This just sounds right up my alley. I have no idea where I even got this book, but I'm glad I did. Whoa. This was a lot of money for a novella. This was $20. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. And the cover is so cute. The cover is so cute and colorful. Yeah. The next book is Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Temi O. The reason I want to read this is because, first of all, it's a thick sci-fi, which I love. For some reason, there's some books that you could be thick and I will love. Sci-fi is one of them. Fantasy, yes. Thrillers, no. Be thin. Be a skinny legend. I do not like really thick thrillers because it gives me too much time to delve into the plot holes and to delve into it, and then I figure it out and then I'm no longer interested. Romances, speed up. Anyways, this is a sci-fi space opera by a Nigerian woman. I feel like this is not a genre that I see a lot of Nigerian people publish in science fiction, and science fiction is one of my big three genres, so I'm really interested in this. This one's basically, it's a very kind of similar premise to a lot of sci-fi books. Like, these people were sent to a planet that is supposed to be a replica of Earth. They are in a cryogenic sleep. They wake up before they come to the planet, and they wonder why they all woke up, and now they're just in space. Sounds great, honestly. Like, that really sounds right up my alley. So I'm excited to read a Nigerian woman's take on it. The next book is an Octavia E. Butler book, A Few Rules for Predicting the Future. It's actually an essay, but it was in hardcover, and I absolutely love this cover. I'm going to display it once I finish reading because it should be a quick read. Would it surprise y'all to know that I have only read one Octavia Butler book? As a black sci-fi girly myself, only reading one Octavia Butler book may sound like blasphemy, but I've read one of her books, and the book I read, I did not like it. Not that it wasn't a good book, not that it wasn't written well, but her book, they take a lot out of me. They're literally a punch to the gut. So I guess that's a good thing. Like, they're very powerful books. Not for me, but I want to try slowly but surely to just see if I can just like start reading her books again, honestly. Yeah, because she's a legend. The next book is The King's Seer. I gotta finish this book. If I don't unhaul it, I read the first two books in this series. I read these two books on Kindle Unlimited randomly. I think because the first book is just this black girl on the cover, and she is just like so gorgeous. And I was like, this is a fantasy. It's amazing. Or the cover was amazing. So I was like, I must read it. And I love the book so much. So the first book, or the series, is about a girl who falls into some river, don't remember which river it is, and she ends up in a different world. So she ends up being kind of like a time traveler, but also a world traveler, because this world is not the same as the current world that she's in. So it's not like she traveled to a different place, she's in a different time in a different world. And there's also magic, but the world kind of mirrors our current world. She ends up in this palace, and the palace people who find her, they think she's a witch. They think she's a witch, and because she's a black woman, they think she's a witch that comes from a continent that's very similar to, or very similarly kind of monocred in a way that makes you think like, oh, this is Africa. And then she hears these people speaking, and she's like, oh, this language is very close to Korean. Because there's magic that exists in this place, because she is in a palace, because there's some political things that are going on, or just like relations between the countries, between the continents, that have never happened in human history. She knows she's in a different world. So she meets the king. This is the king, and he just does not want her to be killed just because they think she's a witch, just because they think she's from a different continent. How does she end up in the palace? He's just like, let's just keep her here. I don't know, let's just keep her here. Why not? So they start a friendship, and basically that friendship is one of the best like friendship books I've ever read. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but the first book made it seem like there was going to be a romance, but it was really just a friendship. And I just love this series so much that I bought all of them in physical, and this is the third one, and I am literally halfway through, and I just never finish it. Maybe because I don't want it to end. I do that a lot with series. Like, I will not watch the last season. Still have never watched the last season of Inuyasha. I will not watch the last episode of things. I don't want things to end. So that's what's happening in this book, or with me reading this book. So hopefully I get over that. If I have changed positions 7 times in this video, is because the card is full, and I have not uploaded anything since I've started filming in 2025 to an external hard drive. So my bad. But anyways, the next book is Lore of the Wilds by Annalise Sabrana. I hope I'm saying that right. And this book I bought entirely for this cute cover. Come on. It's the prettiest cover, and that's literally the only reason I bought it. It's so gorgeous. It is just, I just love seeing black kids front and center for young adult books. So this is a young adult this is a young adult fantasy, and I'm pretty sure it's a romance. The thing is, if it was anything but these 3 black kids on the cover, I would not have bought it, because there's a black girl in the center and there's 2 black flowers behind her. It screams love triangles. Love triangle is the bane of my existence. If we could banish love triangles in all forms of media, and till the end of time, that would be my first marker as president. But here it exists, so I'm going to read for the first time in who knows how long a book with a love triangle. So basically this is about a girl. Her village and her place where she lives is in Desolate, so they are in hard times. So she makes a deal with the Fae Lord. She makes it seem that what she wants is to kind of help her village, and what she wants is money and wealth in order to kind of make her village just better. But what she really wants is magic. So she's kind of deceiving him, and they go on a journey where they meet another boy, and she's just has to rely on these 2 men to try to trick them to giving her magic. Something of that sort. Does it sound interesting? Not particularly, but I'm so excited to read it because the cover is so cute. So there's that. The next book is Pieces by Helen Oyeyemi, Nigerian author. I think I'm gonna do a whole Nigerian reading vlog because half of these are by Nigerian authors. I'm gonna have to do two because I think more than half are by Nigerian authors. But Pieces by Oyeyemi, is this the one where people on the train? Yes. So this is a book where this couple is going on. This couple is newly engaged. So they're newly engaged, and their aunt gives them a trip on this train. So it's one of those like long like Pacific Surfliner like across California type trains or across like the United States type trains. And they give them this train, but when they get on this train, they see that things are weird. I say that way because Helen Oyeyemi, I read one book by Helen Oyeyemi, and it's Mr. Fox, and Helen Oyeyemi writes weird books. She writes weird magical realism books. They're so peculiar. So I can imagine if the premise is already pretty weird, how weird it's gonna get. So yeah, they seem to be the only people on this train that was given to them for their kind of like, I don't know, pre-engagement honeymoon, until the main male, his name is Otto, he sees a mysterious woman on the train, and the mysterious woman gives him a message, and the message leads to clues, and things start unraveling in the relationship. That's all Helen Oyeyemi is gonna give you, and honestly, if the book's really good, you're gonna forget that whole premise when you start reading the book, because she could write down, but you're gonna be not confused, you're gonna know exactly what's happening, but it's like, what? Why is this what? So I'm excited to read this because I think Helen Oyeyemi can easily become one of my favorite authors. Yeah. The next book is The List by Yomi Agagoke, and I am so excited to read this. First, it's my favorite cover. I can't wait to favorite cover. It's my favorite color. I can't wait to put it on my shelves. I don't care if it's just a plain cover with an emoji. It's so cute. It's so cute. I'm so sorry. But this is basically about a couple, and the main female in this book, her name is Ola. Ola is about to marry the love of her life. She's in a good relationship. She's about to get married. She's engaged, and if you're Nigerian, you know the time when you're about to get married is the time when you finally have made everything your parents have done worth it. You have finally succeeded in life. F your degree, F everything else you have ever done. It's the marriage. Wow. Obviously, I was triggered. But yeah, so she's about to marry the love of her life. So basically, her life is going good. She's about to get married until she gets a text from one of her friends saying, oh my gosh, have you seen The List? The List comes out, and it's basically a thing of like the Ashley Madison equivalent, except it's just abusive men. So it's not just men who have cheated, it's men who have been abusive. And it's just a long docket of men. And she sees that her fiance is on the list. She, until that point, has been having a great relationship with her husband or with her fiance. She does not know him to be abusive, to be a bad man. Obviously, she's about to marry him. So now he's on this list, and she's just like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah, that sounds so interesting. It sounds like a very unique premise, and I am very excited for it. The last book is Psalms of Storms and Silence by Roseanne E. Brown. I need to finish this series or read this book this month, or I am going to unhaul both books. I am going to punish myself if I do not, because I've had it for too long for it to not be read. It's a very thick book, but it's a young adult book, so there's not like there's a lot of words on the pages. It's less than 500 pages, so I really want to finish the series, and I hate to like be blunt, but be done with it, because I feel like it's just looming over my head because I haven't read it, and I just need to finally finish it. So yes, those are all the Blackity books I'm going to be reading in February. If I come back and have read all of these books, just know I'm highly favored, because yeah, I have never completed in its entirety a February TBR just because I put 5011 books on there. But you know, I think I did a reasonable amount, you know, growth. I'm growing and I'm an adult. I'm not just trying to like overextend myself for nothing. So I will have a reading vlog for hopefully every single one of these books. Actually, I'm gonna cut that out because who knows whether you're not. And if you leave it in, then you're a hater. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.